Ladies and gentlemen, I've been saying this for a while, and now it's happening. Biden's impeachment is taking place. The IRS official that came out and said what is taking place essentially is covering up a political job, a political attempt at just running out the clock pertaining to Hunter. Okay, if there's a federal prosecutor, federal attorneys going after Hunter, and they don't have enough information to indict him after going on 3 years, over 3 years now, that's a brazen, overt, obvious attempt at trying to just sweep all the criminality under the rug. So you look at the New York Post reporting. You know, it's really interesting. MSNBC is trying to focus on one minute, irrelevant detail pertaining to Matt Taibbi's journalism, okay? It's completely irrelevant to the overall story of why Twitter suspended the New York Post because it harmed Democrats at a moment that most Americans needed to know the criminality within the Democratic Party. So the truth, whether it's the DNC emails showing what they did to Bernie Sanders, where they don't even know how to run a functioning primary. The truth is always some kind of elaborate plot by another country or by a journalist. They never just accept the truth, Democrats. So you can dislike Trump's personality all you like. He's not doing the same things the Democrats are, okay? He doesn't have an entire apparatus and loyalists within the government helping him out and covering up any criminal acts. See, again, most people don't see this. They just see Trump's, tweets, and then they say, oh my God, this person's a monster. And they don't realize that there's an entire media and government machine at work going after Trump and covering up crimes on the Democratic Party side. GOP lawmaker hints at Biden impeachment as Hunter scandal deepens. How can we not? IRS employee comes forth claiming the Hunter investigation has been influenced by politics. Of course, a Republican on the House Oversight Committee is saying evidence of the Biden family's corruption is growing deeper and it will lead to impeachment after new revelations from the IRS official and ex-Central Intelligence official. So there's a new wrinkle to this, ladies and gentlemen. A Central Intelligence official in the Hunter probe. Now, it's really interesting, too, because anyone in government that goes after Trump is championed, lionized, lauded. Oh, my goodness. Now you have a Central Intelligence, ex-Central Intelligence top official, okay? The Biden team sparked effort to suspend the New York Post, okay? Former acting director. Hunter has become the center of renewed political controversy after it emerged that former acting director. Okay, so Morrell made the confession a private sworn testimony. He helped organize a letter by 50 Intel officials, former Intel officials. So now you have a huge, once the Intel agencies, or once you have officials within the Intel agency come out, then there's really nothing much. I mean, I should say this actually was an event that took place with Trump. They just made things up with the New York Post article trying to suspend it, saying that it was disinformation from the Kremlin. They just make things up. Here you have an official that Democrats really can't say, they really can't get upset with this man because the man initially worked to help their interests because he was part of Intel. Now he's working to help the interests of the United States of America. See, what Democrats have done is they've said, stopping Trump is in the interest of the United States of America. No, stopping Trump has never been in the interest of the United States of America. It's in the interest of the Democratic Party. Then they call Trump a narcissist. the narcissism is thinking that doing anything possible to stop your direct political rival is warranted. That is the narcissism. Hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen, to read my writing on The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, and other publications. Go to hagoodman.com. Email me at contactgoodman88@gmail.com to become part of a newsletter. To my super thanks, thank you. To my super thanks below, thank you so very, very much. The Patreon, to my new Patreons, thank you so very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, here you go. This is the very tip of the iceberg. The very brave IRS agent coming forward, I think, will start it. They're talking about impeaching Biden. How could we not impeach Biden? So there you go. Representative Tim Burchett, Tennessee, said a morning with Maria Friday. So they're talking about it on Fox News. This is going to take place, I would say, probably the same timeline. Probably November of 23, people. Probably November, December of 23, which is what is in 2019. They impeached Trump because of a phone transcript. Complete nonsense, because he was going after his direct political rival, Biden. Now we find out the corruption is unbelievable with Biden. We already knew this. But it's interesting. The really hilarious thing is not only do you have Intel now turning on Democrats, so you have an intelligence official at Central Intelligence, okay, turning on Democrats, but now you have an impeachment that actually involves a laptop with incriminating emails. Because when they impeached Trump, they would have done so 30 times if they could, over nonsense. They impeached Trump because they said he tried to pressure another country into investigating his direct political rival. This is, of course, nonsense. He gave the military aid, and there was, of course, people coming out of the government. They were called whistleblowers. They were, that's in terms of the definition of a person doing that. The definition of that type of person does not involve a phone transcript or an interpretation of a phone transcript, okay? What they did, what government and Twitter did, was break First Amendment laws. You cannot censor or suspend a publication like the New York Post or any publication simply because they publish negative stories about your political party. That's exactly what happened. And so now you have Central Intelligence and officials saying, well, yeah, we just made it up because it hurt the Democratic Party and it hurt Hunter. But here's the thing. This impeachment will actually involve evidence of criminality, felonies, 150 suspicious activity reports, millions upon millions of dollars. Okay, that's the difference between this impeachment and Trump's two different impeachments. They accused Trump of things he didn't do because they assumed the worst in every situation. They assumed his words really meant he wanted to compel people to commit criminal acts in January. They assumed that an ellipsis within a speech transcript was meant to intimidate another country's president, which, by the way, that president, the country being invaded now under Biden's watch after his son worked for an oil and gas association, a corporation within that country. But anyway, that's a whole other story. Forcing out a prosecutor of that country, and then years later, seeing it being invaded under their watch. That's a whole other story. But you have a situation now where Central Intelligence is turning. Intel is turning. Because the country knows, here's what media and Democrats don't understand. Everybody knows what Democrats are doing. The belief that Trump is just a bad person and he's so horrible, it's like, well, more and more people realize that is a manufactured image. There's a manufactured image. He tweeted something mean 10 years ago. He's a horrible person. Well, Democrats suspended a publication and are engaged in serious financial crimes, bribery, graft, kickbacks, all of those things. Trump isn't. Okay, some things are a lot worse than others. Okay, just using basic logic, you know that the criminality is far worse within the Democratic Party. Hit subscribe. I'll be back in 1 hour. Thank you. Hit subscribe right now.